Ayrton Senna is widely considered the greatest Formula One driver of the modern era. His legacy lives on amongst the teams he moulded, the drivers who revered him, and the fans who'll never forget his legendary drives. 20 years has passed since that fateful day at Imola in 1994, and on the anniversary of his death, Senna's name has the motor racing community reflecting on his contribution to the sport.
The new car basically is too young at the moment and needs more running to fulfill all the requirements necessary on its development.
Part of the Ayrton Senna legend was his approach to driving. For the Brazilian, it was often win at all costs, even if that cost was at the expense of a teammate. Arguably, Senna's greatest rival was former teammate Alain Prost. Their Japanese Grand Prix clash in 1989, one of Formula One's most defining moments.
Ayrton has a small problem. He thinks that he can't kill himself because he believes in God and things like this, and I think that's very dangerous for the other drivers.
The famous driver's legacy goes well beyond motorsport. Senna and his sister Vivian established the Ayrton Senna Foundation because he felt not enough was being done for the local street children. Since 1994, the Senna Institute has been developing solutions to combat the lack of quality public education that hinders millions of children and young people to successfully move on with their studies. The Institute's mission is based on Ayrton Senna's life and ideals, and each year it continues to raise funds to help Brazilian children and adolescents. Imola is a small town in northern Italy, made famous internationally by hosting the former San Marino Grand Prix. It was here in 1994 that Formula One drivers Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger died. Last week, Imola was invaded by thousands of visitors, including many fans, officials and personalities from the motor racing world, and they spent 5 days remembering and celebrating the life of Ayrton Senna. Our Ivan Capelli was among the visitors, and he caught up with a fellow friend of Senna, the Formula One photographer, Keith Sutton.
And I walked into the paddock, and he came up to me in broken English, he didn't speak English very well, and said, "Why are you taking all those pictures of me in Thruxton?" I said, "Because I work for a Brazilian magazine. They want pictures of Brazilian drivers racing in England." He said, "Are you a professional photographer?" I said, "Yes, I'm in my second year." He said, "Well, I need a photographer because I need to send pictures back to Brazil, to the newspapers, to get some publicity." He said, "Would you be my photographer?" I said, "Yeah, of course, as long as you pay me." This was a shot when I took just after he won the Japanese Grand Prix in '88 when he won the World Championship. Very emotional time.
Which is the picture that you consider your picture on that book?
It's this front cover in Spa in 1991. I shot it from instead of shooting the podium opposite, I went into a little office at the side of near the press office that was empty. I lifted the window. I was looking right down. I shouted him, and he came up and sprayed the champagne. That was him looking really thoughtful in Monza, in Adelaide, the last race in Adelaide.
I had the chance to catch up with Ivan Capelli while he was in Imola for the festivities and asked him, "Were you friends?"
I knew Ayrton very well because I was sharing the team with Maurizio Gugelmin, a Brazilian driver, and being obviously a Brazilian, my teammate, Ayrton usually share a lot of time with us in Formula One paddock after the practice, being able to chat a little bit, to talk, and it was funny because we were talking in Italian because Ayrton was able to talk Italian. He learned Italian when he started his career in go-kart in 1978 in Italy, and Maurizio Gugelmin as well. He did roughly the same kind of career, so he was able to speak Italian, and our language was Italian.
What did you and the other drivers at the time think of Ayrton?
I met him in 1978 when he was driving a go-kart, and I can say that immediately we could understand that Ayrton had something different. Physically, he was actually driving the car in a different way. We could see him sitting inside the car and being able really to use his body sometimes to drive and to control, especially the go-kart. Following his career, we could understand how he was capable of controlling the power, especially in the turbo car with the Lotus and the Renault engine, or with the McLaren Honda, when nearly 1,000 horsepower were available for the driver in qualifying.
In your opinion, was he actually the best, and why?
Ayrton demonstrated he was probably one of the best drivers, if not the best overall, because he was able to change his driving style with the changement of the technique. We started with the turbo engine, when we moved to the atmospheric, with the Win car, then with the car with the flat bottom, and Ayrton was able to match all these challenges, these new technological things that arrived in Formula One.
If, as he'd stated, he'd like to end his career driving for Ferrari, how different would the last 20 years have been?
Ayrton Senna could match all the changes in Formula One, like the groove styles or the recent technology, because he was able to show that he was not just a fast driver, but also introducing the way of understanding telemetry, so that the technical part of the Formula One, being actually part of the team, especially of the technician. Senna could match all the changes and all the different situations in the last Formula One years.
Coming up next, what really happens in the pits.